We've helped over 1,000 families move to South Florida, and the number one question we get before budget, before bedroom count, before anything else is, which city is actually right for me? And for a lot of you, maybe you already know the city, but then the next question is, which part of that city actually makes sense for my lifestyle? Because here's what a lot of people don't realize. Whether you're moving here from out of state or you've been here for years, South Florida isn't one place. It's like 10 completely different worlds under the same sun. Miami is nothing like Boca. Boca is nothing like Jupiter. Weston is nothing like Fort Lauderdale. And choosing the wrong one, it's an expensive mistake. Some of you watching already have a short list and just need more context. A lot of you have no idea, and honestly, both are fine. Figuring this out is literally what my team does every single day. So today we're ranking the most popular South Florida cities, S tier all the way down, based on lifestyle, schools, demand, and location. And I promise you, at least one of these is going to make you want to leave a comment. I'm Jonathan with Live South Florida. We've helped over 1,000 families relocate across Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. Now, this list isn't based on statistics or search rankings. It's based on what we actually see, what our clients experience, and what we tell a close friend who asked us the same question. Here's how the tiers work. And before we get into it, no truly bad cities are on this list. Everyone has real value. The tiers are about fit, not good versus bad. S tier checks off every box: great school, safe, clean, strong lifestyle, great dining and entertainment, prime location. Start your search here. A tier, excellent cities. Usually one trade-off, maybe it's farther from the beach, more suburban, or missing that walkable downtown. Still places that we recommend all the time. B tier, solid cities, 2 or more trade-offs. Schools can vary, neighborhoods are mixed, entertainment is limited, or the location just isn't as convenient. Good places to live, just not the strongest relocation magnets. C tier, which I call the sleepers, they have strong value, real upside, but still evolving. Now the lifestyle is developing, some areas are still catching up. These are the ones to watch. And D tier, very niche, very specific situations. Now spoiler, none of the cities you're probably think about land here. We're covering fewer than 20 cities today, the most requested ones. If yours isn't here, I apologize. Let's start with the one we hear about more than any other. Boca almost feels like a cheat code. A-rated public schools across the board, plus some of the best private schools in South Florida. Pinecrest, St. Andrews, North Broward Prep, and Grandview Prep. Hard to beat from an education standpoint. You're coastal, so you're either walking to the beach or a short drive. Meisner Park, Royal Palm Place, Town Center Mall, great restaurants, nightlife, country clubs, luxury communities, newer construction, parks, a dog beach, a private executive airport, multiple universities, and you're 10 minutes away from Delray for a completely different downtown vibe. Location-wise, you're kind of right in the middle of everything. You've got Fort Lauderdale to the south, West Palm Beach to the north, and Miami's really not that far either. So you're close to 3 major metros, but you don't have to deal with the day-to-day headaches of actually living in any of them. It's clean, it's safe, everything's really well maintained, and for the most part, when people come here for the first time, they all kind of say the same thing. It just feels right. Now, the trade-offs. I mean, first one is cost. This is definitely one of the more expensive markets in South Florida, and that gap has really only gotten bigger over the last few years. And then there's what people call the Boca bubble. It's very polished, very structured, very planned out, and for a lot of people, that's exactly why they love it. But for others, it can feel a little formal, maybe a little less laid back than what they're used to. And honestly, sometimes the personalities just don't mesh if you're not used to that Boca vibe. Boca is just a more refined environment overall. Boca is luxury, and honestly, I always say, you either love it or you don't. Personally, I love it, and because of that, I am putting it in the S tier. All right. This one's a tough one because Delray is genuinely special. It's just more nuanced than Boca. Boca is definitely more polished, but Delray's just got more going on, more personality, more energy. It just feels different. Atlantic Avenue is one of the best streets in all of South Florida. There's always something going on, and it runs right into the beach, so the whole area just feels active and alive. And here's what we've noticed. People don't just move to Delray, they become Delray people. There's a loyalty to the city that you don't see everywhere. We've had clients fully committed to Boca. They drove down Atlantic on a Saturday night, and that was it. Delray got that. From a housing standpoint, they've kept the height restrictions. That's what preserves that small town coastal feel. School-wise, some parts of Delray are zoned for Boca schools, which is a big plus, but it's not consistent everywhere. And once you go west of I-95, the vibe does change. You'll see more older communities, more 55+ neighborhoods, and less of that Delray energy. And just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. It just means a lot of the area between 95 and the Turnpike is going to be more limited if you're not over 55. I-55. Lifestyle, location, demand, all strong, but the school consistency isn't quite at Boca's level, and for families, that's the deciding factor. It really is a special city. We spend a lot of time in Delray, so it pains me, but Delray Beach has to go in the A tier. Let's completely switch it up and head inland. Wellington gets underrated by people who haven't spent time there, so let me give you the full picture. Great schools, some of the best in Palm Beach County, tons of newer communities, more space, more affordable than the coast, and when it comes to equestrian lifestyle, Wellington is on a whole nother level. Equestrian capital of the world. The Winter Equestrian Festival brings top riders from around the globe every year. It's a massive part of the culture. And then there's communities like Aero Club, homeowners with their own hangars, taxiing planes from their property. The real estate here is truly unique. Now the trade-off, 25 to 30 minutes from the beach, no real downtown, no nightlife. If you want to go out to dinner, you're probably driving to West Palm, and on top of that, Wellington does sit pretty far northwest, which for a lot of buyers just feels a little removed from everything else going on along the coast. For some people, that's totally fine, but for others, it's a deal breaker right away. For the right buyer, families, equestrian folks, people who prioritize space in schools, Wellington could be S tier, but for most relocation buyers who want the full South Florida lifestyle, that inland location holds it back. So with that being said, Wellington comes in at A tier. Next, let's head south into Broward County and talk about a big one, Fort Lauderdale. This might be the most misunderstood city on this list. When people hear Fort Lauderdale, they still think spring break in the 80s, and that's just not what it is anymore. Not even close. Las Olas is one of the best spots in South Florida for dining and going out. The boating lifestyle is incredible. I mean, they don't call it the Venice of America for nothing. You've got the beach right there, Brightline Station, a growing job market, a real art scene, luxury high-rises going up, and some really beautiful neighborhoods like Victoria Park, Coral Ridge, Rio Vista, Bay Colony, and Las Olas Isles. Now, the not so great. Fort Lauderdale is a real city, and what I mean by that is the feel can change pretty quickly depending on where you are. So knowing exactly where to buy really matters here. Traffic is also real. I-95, 595, A1A, the bridges, you're gonna feel it. And school quality varies depending on the area, so if you've got kids, that's something you really wanna pay attention to. But overall, the lifestyle, the growth, the energy, and the long-term upside are all really strong. It's honestly close to S tier, and I think it gets there, and I'm a huge fan, but because of the neighborhood variation and just the realities of living in a true city, Fort Lauderdale comes in at A tier. All right, let's head back up into Palm Beach County, a little further north to Jupiter. And honestly, Jupiter might be the city that surprises people the most. A lot of buyers come down here thinking Miami, Boca, Fort Lauderdale. They want the restaurants, the nightlife, the energy, and then they visit Jupiter. And something just kind of shifts because the quality of life here is just different. The beaches aren't overcrowded, the boating and fishing are on another level. There are parks everywhere, there's strong schools, and it actually feels like a real community where people know their neighbors. It's clean, it's safe, and it has that laid-back coastal lifestyle that a lot of the more built-up areas have honestly lost. We've had plenty of buyers come down who were set on Boca and end up buying in Jupiter. It happens more than you'd think. And once they make that move, they don't look back. You've got places like Abacoa, Harborside, great golf, Roger Dean Stadium, and easy access up to the Treasure Coast. Now the trade-off is location. If you need to be in Fort Lauderdale or Miami regularly, that drive can get old fast. But what we've found is the people who choose Jupiter actually want that separation. When you look at the lifestyle, the safety, the schools, and just overall quality of life, Jupiter is an easy S tier. I personally love it there. Let's jump on 95 and head south to West Palm Beach. This one is interesting because West Palm is probably the city that's changed the most in the last 5 years. Downtown is booming, Clematis Street, City Place, great restaurants, rooftop bars, new hotels, luxury condos, real arts and culture scene, beautiful waterfront living, and a ton of new construction. Brightline connecting you to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando. The airport's right there. Major companies and executives are moving in. I mean, we're big fans of where this city is headed, but we've got to be real. West Palm is still in transition. The feel can vary quite a bit depending on the neighborhood. Some areas are fantastic, others are still improving. The neighborhoods close to downtown that people want come with a premium price. What we see a lot is buyers fall in love with the downtown lifestyle, but if the price doesn't work, they end up further west, which means about a 20 to 30 minute drive from the lifestyle that attracted them in the first place. Schools are solid in some areas, but vary. The growth and potential are very strong, but the neighborhood variation, the pricing near downtown, and the fact that the city is still still evolving, keep it at A tier. Watch the city though, because it's moving fast, and I think within 5 years, it looks completely different. All right, back into Broward to the city of Coral Springs, and this one might get a few comments. Coral Springs is a very popular family area, good schools, clean, safe, well-kept communities, great parks, and I'll say this because I grew up there. Middle school, high school, I know this area really well. A lot of people who live here generally love it, and many stay long-term or move north into Parkland as their families grow. But here's my honest take. Coral Springs is very residential and very suburban, at least 30 minutes from the beach. Most things require getting into the car. Other than the walk, there's really no entertainment strip or true downtown. Now, I will say the city is building one around the City Hall area, which is great to see, but right now the lifestyle is centered around families, schools, and quiet suburban living. And for out-of-state buyers coming here for the lifestyle, the beach, the walkability, the energy, Coral Springs usually isn't the first choice. It ends up being a fallback. And because of that, Coral Springs comes in as B tier. I know that's going to get some pushback from people who live there. Drop it in the comments. Let's stay in Broward and head south on I-75 to Pembroke Pines. Now, Pembroke Pines is big, one of the largest cities in all of Broward County. Well-maintained communities, good schools, solid parks like C.B. Smith and Brian Piccolo, strong family feel, really diverse, and a solid mix of housing that gives buyers flexibility on price. The southern Broward location means easy access to both Miami and Fort Lauderdale via I-75 and the Turnpike. Locally, there's plenty to do. Shops at Pembroke Gardens, Pembroke Lakes Mall, good dining, city events, safe and family-oriented. Same story as Coral Springs though. Landlocked, 30 plus minutes from the beach, no real downtown or nightlife. If coastal lifestyle is anywhere on your list, it's gonna feel like a trade-off. And the size can work against it. It can feel a little spread out, a little anonymous. But for solid schools, good value, safety, and a lot of housing inventory, Pembroke Pines deserves a serious look. A lot of the families laying here never regret it. Strong B tier. Same as Coral Springs, both are great places to live. Now let's stay on I-75 and head just a little north to Weston. Weston is one of the best planned cities in all of South Florida. It's designed from the ground up as a master plan community. The second you drive in, you feel it. Landscaping is immaculate, everything is intentional. It just looks and feels different. Schools are consistently ranked among the best in Broward and South Florida. Exceptional safety, by the way. It's one of the safest cities in the state. Over 200 acres of parks, more than 50 miles of bike paths, and some of the cleanest communities you'll find anywhere. It's also really diverse with residents from all over the world. Town Center gives you restaurants, shopping, and everyday conveniences. And for families from New York, New Jersey, or Chicago, Weston just hits different. It feels like the suburbs they grew up in, but just with better weather and no state income tax. The trade-off, Weston sits far out west, right against the Everglades, beach, nightlife, Fort Lauderdale, or Miami Energy. You're looking at 30 to 45 minutes minimum. For some buyers, that separation is exactly what they want. For others, it's a deal breaker. If this list was ranked purely for families, Weston would probably be S tier, but for the widest range of relocation buyers, the location holds it back. It's still one of the best suburban cities in the state, and with that, Weston goes into a solid A tier. Staying on master plan communities, let's talk Parkland. And I'll say this up front, Parkland is a fantastic place to live, especially for families. You have beautiful communities, newer construction, top-rated schools, one of the safest areas in all of South Florida. People who move to Parkland tend to stay. They put down their roots, their kids grow up there, and they don't have a reason to leave. The trade-off is very similar to Weston, just turned up. Very residential, very quiet, limited shopping and dining. You're in the car for most things, about 30 minutes from the beach. I hear it all the time from buyers. I love Parkland, but it's too far from everything. For families who want quiet, safe, and suburban, it's perfect. But for buyers chasing that South Florida lifestyle, with beach access and energy, the location is a real drawback. Parkland is a strong A tier, borderline S tier, honestly, but there just isn't enough to do nearby. If they ever build out more dining and entertainment out there, this ranking is definitely going to change. Let's head way down into Miami-Dade, Coral Gables, and I'll be honest, for me personally, it's a little far south, but I absolutely love this city. Coral Gables has that established, walkable neighborhood feel with beautiful tree-lined streets, incredible architecture, and a ton of history, charm, and character you don't see everywhere. Miracle Mile for dining, shopping, boutiques, galleries, Merrick Park for upscale retail, University of Miami's right there. You're close to Brickell and the Miami core, the Biltmore Hotel, the Venetian Pool. Public and private schools are some of the best in South Florida. Historic homes, luxury properties, and established neighborhoods that hold their value extremely well. The only real downside is price. Coral Gables is not cheap and it sits at the higher end of the Miami market, but when you look at the lifestyle, the schools, the walkability, the prestige, and the long-term value, there really aren't many negatives. If you are a Miami-Dade buyer, this should be at the top of your list. Coral Gables is an easy S tier. Incredible place if you ask me. Right next door, Coconut Grove, and the Grove might be one of Miami's best kept secrets for people who actually want to live here, not just visit. Completely different energy from the rest of Miami. It's laid back, bohemian, coastal village feel, shaded streets with mature oak trees, outdoor cafes, boutique shopping, some of the best walkability in all of South Florida, right along Biscayne Bay, just south of Brickell, close to Miami's energy, but the Grove itself is more intimate, more personal, and a little more eclectic. Strong public and private school options are nearby. You have great waterfront parks, marinas, restaurants, and a local vibe that people absolutely fall in love with. The buyers who choose the Grove are very intentional about it. They know exactly what lifestyle they want, and this delivers. Coconut Grove is an easy S tier, and it's one of those places that honestly gets better the longer you're there. And since we're down here, I'm throwing Pinecrest in as S tier too for a lot of the same reasons. The whole corridor from Palmetto Bay up through Pinecrest and into the Grove, all the way to the Vizcaya Museum and Gardens along Biscayne Bay, that entire stretch is A+. Great neighborhoods, great schools, beautiful homes, and that established Miami character that's really hard to replicate anywhere else. Since we're already in Miami-Dade, let's talk about Kendall. Kendall is actually a solid area with real value. Compared to Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, and Pinecrest, housing is more affordable and you get more space. Schools are strong in many parts, lots of cultural diversity, plenty of parks, everyday conveniences, Dadeland Mall, Zoo Miami, but here's where the trade-off comes in. Kendall is very suburban, very spread out, and completely car dependent, and then there's the traffic. Look, all traffic in Miami is bad. Everybody knows that. But in Kendall, it's worse. Commuting into Brickell, downtown, or even the airport can take a serious chunk of your day. The further west you go, the longer it gets. Good value for the right buyer, but the location, the commute, and the car-dependent lifestyle hold it back. If you work remotely and don't need to go anywhere every day, the calculus changes a little bit. Kendall comes in as a B tier. Let's head north into South Broward along the coast of Hollywood, and this is a city that surprises people in a good way. The Hollywood Broadwalk is one of the best family-friendly waterfront areas in South Florida. Great for walking, biking, just spending time outside. Solid neighborhoods like Hollywood Lakes and Emerald Hills, right between Miami and Fort Lauderdale with the airport just minutes away. Downtown around Young Circle and Harrison Street has come a long way. Good dining, coffee shops, art scenes, and the Hard Rock nearby for entertainment. The trade-off is Hollywood is very neighborhood specific. Some pockets are strong while others are still catching up. Schools vary by area too, but the bigger story is the direction. Hollywood has gone through a real transformation and there's still great value here, and the community pride is real. People who live there love it. It's got that same local loyalty energy as Delray. Once they're in, they're all in. This is a sleeper, and I think it's genuinely underrated right now. So Hollywood comes in as a C tier for now, but I definitely see it moving up. Let's talk about another sleeper, Pompano Beach, one of the most interesting emerging markets in Broward right now. About 3 miles of sandy beaches, a fully renovated pier, great coastal lifestyle. The whole beach area has changed. Great restaurants, breweries, waterfront dining, right between Fort Lauderdale and Boca without paying Fort Lauderdale or Boca prices. And the investment story here is massive. Billions in redevelopment, new fishing village, new hotels, luxury condos, the W Hotel is coming in. And in my opinion, Pompano is one of the next cities to blow up in a good way. The trade-off, still in transition. Some neighborhoods are great, others are still catching up. Safety and feel vary by pocket. Traffic on Federal Highway and A1A can be a factor. Schools are solid in some areas, but vary. The location, the investment, and the upside are very exciting. Buyers who get in on Pompano in the next couple of years are going to look really smart in a decade. Pompano is a C tier right now, but moving towards B tier fast. Let's go back up into Palm Beach County and talk about Boynton Beach. You know, Boynton is one of those cities that gets overlooked because of its neighbors. Delray to the south, West Palm to the north. Bigger names on both sides, but that's also the opportunity. Downtown Boynton has improved a lot. The city is putting real money into Ocean Avenue and the Marina area, more accessible price point than most nearby coastal cities. You're minutes from Delray if you want restaurants, nightlife, or beach. And west of the Turnpike, you've got newer communities, strong schools, and one of the top active adult markets in South Florida with all of the Valencia communities and Canyon Town Center. The trade-off, Boynton is very pocket dependent. You head west and you've got great communities and solid schools. You come east and some areas are still in transition. That inconsistency is really what holds it back, but the location's excellent. Right between Boca, Delray, and West Palm, and the city is actively investing in itself. For the right buyer, willing to be a little patient, there's real opportunity here. Boynton Beach is C tier and improving quickly. Let's keep heading north to Palm Beach Gardens. Now, the Gardens flies under the radar, but once people spend time there, they get it. You have great neighborhoods, well-kept communities, a mix of established homes, newer construction, and luxury properties. It's clean, safe, with a strong quality of life. The schools are solid, very popular with families. The Gardens Mall, downtown at the Gardens, great dining and shopping. And if you're into golf, this is one of the best spots in all of South Florida. Top-tier communities and country clubs everywhere. Location-wise, you're in a great spot, close to Jupiter, 15 to 20 minutes to the beach, easy I-95 and Turnpike access. There's also a solid job presence with corporate offices and medical centers, so it's a practical place to live, not just a lifestyle move. The trade-off, it's suburban and spread out, not really walkable, no real downtown or nightlife. So if you want that coastal walkable energy, you're heading to Jupiter, West Palm, or Delray. And it's not a bargain market. Pricing has climbed, especially in the golf communities. But the safety, the schools, the quality of life, and the overall appeal make this a very strong market. For golfers especially, this might honestly be their personal S tier. Palm Beach Gardens is A tier. Last one, and this one's different, Westlake. Most people watching haven't even heard of it, and that's kind of the point. One of the newest master planned cities in all of Florida, incorporated just a few years ago in western Palm Beach County near Royal Palm Beach and Loxahatchee, built completely from scratch. Everything is new. Homes, infrastructure, roads, community design. It's clean, organized, very intentional. From a price standpoint, you're getting a lot more home for your money compared to what you would be paying closer to the coast. Growing town center with Publix, restaurants, retail, and community events. Not fully built out yet, but it's expanding quickly. And this is the kind of place that didn't exist 5 years ago and is already pulling in young families who want new construction without the coastal price tag. Trade-off, it's still early. Lifestyle outside the community is limited. You're 35 to 40 minutes from the beach, and if you commute every single day, the location's a challenge, but a lot of our clients choosing Westlake work remotely. And when that distance stops being an issue, that value proposition is really hard to beat. Westlake comes in as C tier, but it's one to watch closely. In 5 years, this conversation is gonna look very different. All right, here's how it all shakes out. Starting with the S tier, you've got Boca Raton, Jupiter, Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, and Pinecrest. Now, moving down to the A tier, there's a lot of strong cities here. You've got Delray Beach, Wellington, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Weston, Parkland, and Palm Beach Gardens. And honestly, Delray Beach and maybe even Parkland could make a case for S tier, but for the sake of this list, we're gonna leave them right there. Now moving down to the B tier, you've got Coral Springs, Kendall, and Pembroke Pines. And then in the C tier, you've got Hollywood, Pompano Beach, Boynton Beach, and Westlake. And every one of these is improving. It's only a matter of time before some of them move up. Now, this is my list based on real experience with real clients. You might disagree, and that's great. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. And if your city didn't make the cut, listen, I apologize. There's a lot more markets we could cover, but if this video does well, we'll do separate county breakdowns of Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd want to see. Here's a thing I always leave people with. The right city for you isn't necessarily the one at the top of this list. It's the one that fits your lifestyle, your priorities, and your budget. We've had clients move into C tier cities who ended up happier than people who chose S tier. The right fit beats the highest ranking every single time. The reality is that South Florida is a big place. 3 counties, dozens of cities, coastal markets, suburban communities, luxury neighborhoods, family areas. It's a lot to figure out, especially if you're coming from out of state. That's exactly what my team and I do every single day. We've helped over 1,000 families figure out which city actually fits their lifestyle, their budget, and their long-term goals. I also put together a free best places to live in South Florida guide. You can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or you can check the link in the description. It breaks down the most popular areas and helps you start narrowing things down. If this video gave you some clarity, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I've got a lot more content just like this coming your way. I'm putting out new videos every week, breaking down South Florida markets and neighborhoods so you can make a smart decision before you move. I appreciate you watching. I'm Jonathan. This is Live South Florida, and I'll see you in the next video.